So I got a request about doing Flamengo Tactics with Jorge Jesus Tactics, and in this video I'm gonna explain a little bit about how he played, which formation I chose to set up. Also, we're basing like the instructions for this tactics on the Jorge Jesus My Club Manager profile, but we're gonna tweak it a little bit according to the research I did. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about player selection. For this one I won't include any gameplay, but I'm gonna play a half season in online divisions with this team, with the formation. So let's start by jumping into the tactics screen. So according to this article that I found while googling, I'm gonna link the article in the description of this video. They played in a 4-4-2, that was their base formation. When defending, they had two flat lines at the back and in the midfield, and they played really compactly, and they also did man marking with high press to try to win the ball, try to press the ball carrier, and also try to cut passing lanes. So they wanted to either make the opponent play backwards, or they wanted to make a bad pass, turnover, or they wanted the opponent to try a long pass. Offensively, they played a little bit more advanced. So what happened there is they went with three at the back. Basically, the wingbacks will push forward and become wide midfielders. And then William Arao in the midfield, he will fall back, center himself like between the center backs. So they will have three at the back when building up. And then in the midfield, obviously Gerson is going to play centrally, and then De Arrascaeta is going to push inside and basically act like a central midfielder. And then you have Everton Ribeiro who's going to push up and become basically a third striker. But I feel like that is a little bit too advanced to set up like in a PES tactic. I want to simplify it a little bit. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to do this base formation, and then we're going to use advanced instructions to hopefully try to imitate some of those strategies. So let's start by taking a quick look at the advanced instructions. So we are going with attacking fullbacks here, and that's basically going to make like the fullbacks into wide midfielders when attacking, more or less. Obviously they won't push that much forward all the time, but they will make runs and they will make themselves available on overlaps and overloads on the wings. And then I put defensive duty on William Arao, so he stays back when we build up. So he will more or less become like not completely like a center back, but he will at least stay back, and you will be able to use him to build up. And then I also put swarm the box. And for the instructions, we're going with this. It's possession game, short pass while attacking wide, and we have flexible positioning and a support range of 3. According to the article, Flamengo built up using triangle plays on the sides, trying to overload and try to create chances from crosses. So for the defensive instructions, I have copied it more or less straight up. We have frontline pressure. We want to try to win the ball with press on the ball carrier. And then we have wide containment, aggressive press, a defensive line of 6, and also compactness of 6. We want the team to be really compact. And one thing Flamengo did under Jesus was to man mark in defense. So what you want to do really depends on what formation your opponent is using, but what you want to do in the pre-game screen is to put man marking on the closest player to the defenders, so that you man mark a little bit, perhaps not every player, but at least their main 4 or 5 attackers and midfielders. Put man marking on them. Obviously, some of your defenders will not have the man marking skill, so they won't be able to man mark all the time, but I think you should keep it in mind. If you want to imitate the tactic as much as possible, you should do man marking. Obviously, there is a lot of dangers by doing man marking depending on the formation and the tactics of your opponent, but that's something you can adjust if you find out in a game that it's not working, that he has some crazy formation going that pulls your players like way out of position. Just deactivate man marking and try to play without it. And for the starting 11, You have Diego Alves in goal, then the fullbacks is gonna be Felipe Luis and Mauricio Isla. Then I chose to go with Leo Pereira as the partner to Rodrigo Cayo in the central defense. You could also start Gustavo Enrique. And in the midfield, we have William Arau as the anchor, like the defensive midfielder. Then we have Gerson as the box-to-box workhorse. And on the wings, as the wide midfielders, you have these creative types. You have Everton Ribeiro on the right and Diarras Gaeta on the left. And up front you have Bruno Henrique as the second striker, and he will support Gabriel Barbosa up front. What you could do if players are out of form, you could also do Diego in the midfield, central midfielder. And what I would do then is, as an example, if Diego plays instead of Gerson, I will do like this. And then put Diego 1 up, so I can switch him to attacking midfield, which is his primary position. He will perform a little bit better. It will have an effect on your defense, obviously, because he won't contribute as much defensively, so just keep that in mind. And up front, you also could do Gabriel Barbosa as the second striker, in case you need to bench Bruno Henrique, and you can start Pedro up front. Pedro is a really good striker. He will score a lot of goals for you. Or if you, for whatever reason, don't want to start Bruno Henrique, you can do this from the start, Gabriel Barbosa and Pedro as the strikers. So that's basically it. I think I've covered like most of it. Like offensively, they want to overload on the wings, play combinations, play a lot of possession, and try to move the ball around to make the defense work and make the defense like chase after the ball. And that's it for the tactics. I'm gonna try this out in online divisions. I will post a separate video for that. And as usual, I want to thank you so much for watching and for your support lately. And I will see you in the next one.